You're watching Law and Crime's live continuing coverage of the Claudia Hoerig case out of Ohio, where a woman is accused of shooting and killing her Air Force husband. The question is the degree of the crime. The defendant herself is on the stand discussing the shooting and a subsequent, in her words, suicide attempt, which she claims did not work because the gun didn't work when she tried to turn it on herself. Let's listen back in to her testimony on the stand. Watching Law and Crime's live coverage of the Claudia Hoerig case. This is the defendant herself on the stand trying to convince jurors that she did not commit the top crime in the land when she shot and killed her husband, Carl Hoerig. She admitted shooting him when he was descending the stairs. She said she also tried to commit suicide after that attempt, but that the gun didn't work when she tried to kill herself. And she's going through a series of possible suicide scenarios that she thought about carrying out. I'm going to bring Andrew Cherkasky into the discussion now. He's an attorney who's joining us here on the Law and Crime Network. So, Andrew, let me get this straight. The gun worked just fine when she pulled the trigger and killed him. It didn't work when she tried to shoot herself. This is her version of things. And she is trying to blame the victim. We see that all the time. But did I also hear her in there say that she was blaming her father for some of this?
Well, it sounds like she had many years of issues with her father, and then is crying when he says he loves her after he sees her in Brazil. It's too strange. I mean, she's not crying on the stand talking about her dead husband or the accidental, spontaneous murder that occurred, but she's crying about her father announcing his love for her. Very strange.
Yeah, I mean, does that possibly play into the defense theory here, though, however, where she says that this was an abusive marriage? Maybe she wouldn't want to cry that much, considering, if we're to buy her story, that it was abusive, there were all these sexual issues in the marriage, that she was belittled. Might that play into that and perhaps make it more believable?
Well, I think what might be playing into it for the defense by having this extended testimony and quite honestly, making her look less than stable, is that she seems so moment by moment that there's not really any premeditation to what she's doing. She's just kind of in that mode of mentality where she's just acting spontaneously, and that might be a good strategy.
Yeah, I mean, some of the testimony is here, there, and everywhere. She's jumping around at different points, and there may be strategy behind that. I agree with that, Andrew, and I think that's a great point, because in order to get that top charge, the state has to prove premeditation. However, we do know that she bought the gun, she's supposedly practiced with it. That might play into that premeditation charge. We are going to take a break here on the Law and Crime Network and be back with more live testimony in the Claudia Hoerig murder case out of Ohio when we return. We're listening to live testimony in the so-called McStay family massacre case. This is a case where a business associate of victim Joseph McStay is facing first-degree murder charges and a possible death penalty if convicted in the murder of Joseph McStay, his wife, and the two McStay boys. This is a trial that is expected to last up to half a year, and the evidence is coming in slowly but surely. There we just saw some key pieces of evidence, including the hammer authorities believe was used to kill the family. Attorney Andrew Cherkasky is with me here. Andrew, a tough case to follow because this is taking a very, very long time, but we're finally seeing some of this key evidence left in the graves, yet none of it directly implicates this defendant.
Right. The gravesite is something that's difficult for the prosecution here. What we're seeing right now is just the tedious effort to put all of the evidence in, each of the photographs, each of the objects that are recovered at the scene. So this isn't any of the exciting information, but it's necessary to give the full picture of what happened at that gravesite.
And just a couple minutes left. I want to dial back and ask you about the Claudia Hoerig case. We wrapped up with direct examination ending. Oftentimes the timing is key. Do you think that they did it on purpose, stretching out that direct examination so cross-examination does not start until the morning?
Well, as a defense counsel, whenever I put my client on the witness stand, I don't want to give the prosecution the night to think about their cross-examination. It just gives them more time with it. So I would have done something to waste the afternoon, come back in the morning, put her on, so the prosecution didn't have the time to consider their cross-examination.
No preparation time. Interesting, because sometimes defense attorneys want to give jurors the night to really think it over. Andrew, appreciate your insight here on the Law and Crime Network this afternoon. All right, we're going to wrap things up. I'll wrap things up. Julie Rendelman will be taking over for live coverage of the Chase Merritt case, the so-called McStay family massacre case from here. She'll be with you for the rest of the evening. I will see you tomorrow.